In this lecture, we're going to learn how we can enable some object to appear when we tap on the screen in the app. So we can actually create an augmented reality object dynamically. Join me in our content view. Here we have our reality kit view, and we have make UI view. In Make UI View, before we return the view, we're going to add a gesture recognizer in order to handle taps. So I'm going to grab View and add to it a gesture recognizer. And here we have to pass in the type of UI gesture recognizer. The gesture that we are recognizing is a tap. So we'll use the UI tap gesture recognizer. In here, we are going to pass in several arguments to the tap recognizer. We are going to pass in a target, which will be here the context.coordinator. So that will be our app. And the action is going to take a selector and it will use the coordinator.handle tap. So we're going to handle the action with the coordinator. So inside of our coordinator, we have to build a function called handle tap if we want this to actually work. So scroll down to your coordinator, and in the coordinator here, we are going to create a new @ here we go. We have the @ object function handle tap, then we have the body of the function. First, we are going to grab the variables that we need with a guard let statement. We want our view to equal self.view. Then we want here afterward focus entity to equal self.focus entity. Otherwise, we are going to return out if we can't get one of the variables. We're going to create a new anchor to add the object to. So I'm going to instantiate a new anchor entity. An anchor tethers virtual content to a real-world object in an AR session. So you can place an object in the world, and if you move the camera, the object won't move. The object will stay where it was created. So here we have our anchor entity. All right, after the anchor entity, we're going to append the anchor to our list of anchors. So we'll take view.scene.anchors and we're going to append the anchor that we just created. All right, then we can build our object. This object we can just build from scratch, or we could use a model. Let's use something we build from scratch. So I'm going to create a cube, and here I'm going to use a mesh resource to build out a 3D model just via Swift. So I'm going to generate a box. This will generate a box mesh. We can pass in the size, which is the length of each side, like 0.3. And you can pass in a corner radius of 0.03. If we don't want a cube that is perfectly cornered, if we want a bit of a soft corner or a curved corner. Okay, then we have to create the material for the cube. So we'll here let material equal a simple material. This will allow you to put some texture or color onto your cube. We can pass in a color. Let's do .orange, and then we can pass in is metallic as an example of a texture. All right, then we have to create a model entity from our mesh. So I'm going to create here a cube entity variable, and I'm going to use the model entity class. This is a representation of a physical object that RealityKit will render and simulate. The mesh that we pass in will be our cube. The materials, we pass in a list of the materials, and we just have one, and that is the material variable that we created. Then we can set the position of the cube entity with the position property. Let's set it to be the position of our focus cursor. Okay, so we have our cube and our material turned into a model entity, and we are going to add the entity to our scene with the anchor.addChild, and then we add in the cube entity. So that will make sure that the element is in a fixed place in the world. Now let's run the application, and we can check that when we tap on the screen, we are going to be able to see orange cubes appear where we tapped, and they will remain in the position of where we initially placed them around our room. Here we can see I have my app open and our plane is being detected with that green color. Then if I tap inside of my orange focus cursor, a orange cube is added into the world. And if I move the camera around, the cubes don't move with me. The cubes stay where they're supposed to be in the world. If you want to learn more iOS development, then pledge to our Kickstarter, the Complete 22 Web Development and Machine Learning Bundle, which also has a lot of app development content. And it is live now, link in description.